Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Driving Perilously, the show in which we turn on the radio
today
and talk about what it is that's happening. What it is that's happening is, well, I'm growing in a little beard. I'm going to go for some scruff. If you find an old video of me like a month ago, I look 20 years older. No, 2 months ago. It's amazing how much a beard can make me look older, which is great for an actor because then I have some versatility. My character in Fiddler on the Roof looked 20 years older than my character in Clue. And Clue was my very next role after Avron the Bookseller in Fiddler on the Roof. So, hey, isn't it wonderful to listen to a YouTuber talk about how wonderful they are? I'm not really saying I'm that wonderful. I'm saying that I have some versatility. So if anybody's watching who's looking for somebody who looks like this but can also look 20 years older if they grow a beard, hit me up. So I'm just turned off the radio, and it was an article, or a story. It was a story on NPR. And I often find that when I hear something on NPR, I immediately want to make a video because I want to say to somebody, and there's nobody here, are you kidding me? Did I just hear what I heard? So I think I just heard that the pandemic, and I'm talking about the COVID-19, which for a while was called the coronavirus, but the pandemic, now it's so general that you could just say the pandemic, killed 20 million people worldwide. And this person, this liberal man, probably wearing a suit, talking to me like he knows what he's talking about, with that vague European accent, so I'm supposed to believe it because it's on NPR, right? The same guy that would do billions of years ago, I wasn't there, but I can tell you what happened, and if you don't believe me, you're stupid. That guy, or a guy like him, is telling me that 20 million people died in the pandemic. And he said that China is not answering any questions, or not answering questions well enough, that maybe it came from a lab leak in the city of Wuhan. Maybe it had something to do with transferring from animals in the Wuhan. I don't think he mentioned bats or wet market because they finally admit that it wasn't from bats in the wet market. But that the Wuhan virus, whether, China, we have to go to war with China. Well, we really don't have to go to war with China. And people have been saying that it was the lab in Wuhan for how many years? And all the people that thought that were crazy, and now NPR is just saying it like, oh, it's so sad that 20 million people died. 20 million people? Okay, here in the United States, if the doctor wrote down that it was COVID, the reason person died, then the federal government would give them money. I forget how much money. And if you wrote down something else and didn't write down COVID, then you didn't get the money. So